Hey guys, Chicky Domain, Debut.com with a Debut.com update on Hurricane Irma. This update effective around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, September 10th, 2017. And I want to start you off with a high-resolution image of Irma when she crossed over the Florida Keys and was approaching the southwest Florida coast. This image was earlier today, so it's not real time. But the reason why I wanted to point this out to you is because on September 7th at 9:22 a.m., we posted on Twitter that our opinion was that a landfall in southwest Florida could not be ruled out at that time. And when we take a look, I'll zoom in here. And this tweet, it's all documented. This tweet was at 9:22 a.m. at September 7th. And if you'll see that little circle over there, and I had the arrow pointing to it, and then there's another one over off the over on the southeast Florida side with the arrow pointing up towards the east coast there. And at that time, the National Hurricane Center's official forecast track was for a more eastern solution up the Florida east coast. But I want to just show you, these are the things that we look for when we're trying to figure out where a storm goes. And there's certain things that give us clues that may not make sense to you, but it makes sense to me, and that's all that matters to me. But, that's why we put in that image, take note, and we put a O in parentheses, because that's where we thought it was going to go. And then if you saw our video back on September 7th, I believe it was, we talked about that there was nothing that said that, high pressure could build a little bit stronger and push Irma a little bit more to the west-northwest and get in that position. And then here is the National Hurricane Center forecast track on September 7th, showing a major hurricane coming in and then going over South Florida and then working its way up to the East Coast. But if you remember, or if you've took the time to watch that video, that's when we were talking about that cone of uncertainty and what the cone of uncertainty means. And that is that although the National Hurricane Center puts their letters in Pacific positions in their map, that doesn't mean that that letter can't move around within that cone of uncertainty. So let's take a look at a live look now. I don't want to say live, but a look at Irma. She's already made landfall in southwest Florida. Present movement indicated by the National Hurricane Center is north, moving up. Now, the National Hurricane Center in their current update, 5 p.m., shows Cat 1 hurricane in here overland. It's going to continue to weaken if it follows that course. But if you followed us on our Twitter feeds earlier today, we said that it looks like that it's possible that the original forecast of going straight up the spine of Florida looks like it might verify. Now, what does that mean? Really nothing. The weather that we're getting from Irma, you're going to experience bad weather, whether or not she comes up the center of the state, or whether or not she moves to the left, or whether or not she moves to the right. I am curious about my idea that I had about the skinny part of the state, and if she gets up in here, what the effect of that will be. Your biggest concerns is just bad weather. Hunker down in place. It's going to be done in about 24 to 48 hours for the most of us in Florida. We'll be able to start cleaning up. Our focus will then turn our attention over to Jose. And right now, the 12Z Euro model run keeps Jose off the coast. But mind you, that's one run of many more to come, because Jose is forecast to be out there to the northeast of the Bahamas for about 4 or 5 days. And we'll be watching her when she comes out of that turn out of the loop-de-loop. And that's if that loop-de-loop holds. But also, real quick, let me switch you back over just so that you know. This is September 7th. This is where Irma was. Guess what, folks? We weren't looking at Irma. We were looking out ahead of her. We were looking in here September 7th and trying to get the clues on where she was going to go. That's all we got for you for now. Stay tuned for the next update. Follow us on our Twitter feeds for real-time updates. We'll probably go back to sharing some more info on our Facebook and Instagram accounts. but always on Instagram on Twitter is where we share everything first. Thanks for following.